Sayako, our main character, feels like just a child, struggling with her own insecurities and her own emotions. In fact, she can't even process when someone else is just wanting to reach out to her and be a friend. And all of her friends surrounding her, they also feel so young yet so mature. It's as if they've all been forced into their current situation, adapting years ahead of where they should be. And then tying all of this together is one of my favorite elements of the game, and it's how it paces its emotions. Playing through this visual novel, it hits you with sad, empathy, anger, frustration, confusion, happiness, laughter, and somehow it transitions between all these seamlessly, finding the perfect story beats when to implement each of these emotions through its writing and music working hand in hand. There's no other way that I can say it except for that it inspires me to become a better writer and editor. From what we initially pick up through the characters and dialogue in the story is that everyone that lives in this town are ghosts, and they've been living here for hundreds of years, possibly longer, so long that they don't or can't even keep track of the days anymore. And through the introduction of all this, we also start to pick up that there's something going on behind the scenes. Because even after everyone became ghosts, the church still tries to maintain control over everyone within the town, and our main characters aren't too keen about that. A dynamic we're introduced to from the very first moments of the game is that something happened a long time ago in our character's past. Something that's complicated the relationship between our main character, the people who used to be her closest friends, and the people of the town. And on top of that, our main character keeps having these recurring dreams or memories possibly that she doesn't quite remember, but they allude to Sayako being at the very center of a dark and terrible tragedy between herself and her friends that's the sole cause of this rift between them and the townsfolk. Sitting here right now, it is so hard not to tell you more about it, but if I did, it would take away part of this visual novel's charming absurdity. Everything you've heard me say up until this point was written during and after completing the first 2 chapters of the 5 that we currently have access to. And I can confidently say that from start to finish, the very first chapter is the best of the 5. I found its story and pacing to just be the most engaging. But also note that some of the other chapters, in particular the 5th one, had moments far better than anything that the first chapter delivered. Knowing what I know now after completing season 1, I would be disappointed if I didn't finish playing through it. And for as much praise that I'm giving the visual novel, it's not perfect. Where it struggles the most is it can just get overly wordy in areas that seem to serve no purpose or just add a lot of filler dialogue that makes important moments or important information just drag on. And while a lot of this dialogue makes sense character-wise, because this is a story being told from the perspective of the main character, it made some sections more difficult to get through than others. The last safe thing that I can say without giving away any spoilers towards the story, the characters, or the visual novel itself is that I am very excited to get my hands on season 2 when it eventually comes out. Although unfortunately there's no release date that I've been able to find so far, which is fair. The visual novel came out a couple months ago. Okay, there's a couple other things I can still say. With the end of season 1, I'm emotionally invested in the characters. I love all of them. I wish that some story arcs could have been a little bit more tied into the overall plot of season 1 instead of just being used as secondhand motivation or introducing characters just to throw them away. But that's difficult to say for sure because season 2 is yet to happen. We're only halfway through the whole experience of this. And finally, for real this time, is that this is one of the most interesting worlds that I've been introduced to in a very long time, where its driving factor behind the story are the mysteries pushing it forward. I'm probably gonna butcher this name, but I just want to say thank you to Chisuito for the experience of season 1. I can hardly wait for season 2, and honestly, I think this has awoken a love for visual novels in me.